Every morning, millions of high-earning professionals wake up, fight traffic, and pour their energy into demanding careers. They earn more than their parents ever did, yet they remain stuck in a relentless cycle of work and debt. No matter how high their salary climbs, true financial freedom always feels out of reach. Compare that reality to a man named Ronald Read. He spent his life working as a janitor and a gas station attendant. He drove a second-hand car and held his coat together with safety pins. Yet when he died at age 92, he quietly left behind a fortune of $8 million. Now look at Richard Viscone. He held a degree from Harvard, worked as a high-powered executive at a major investment bank, and lived in an expansive mansion featuring 2 swimming pools. He possessed every academic and social advantage a person could have. But during the 2008 financial crisis, Viscone lost his entire fortune. The bank he worked for collapsed, his mansion went into foreclosure, and he filed for personal bankruptcy. The janitor became a multimillionaire, and the highly educated executive lost everything. That outcome breaks every traditional assumption we have about money. Financial success is not a mathematical test of intelligence. It is a strictly behavioral game, where how you act is far more important than what you know. Hard work matters, but it is deeply entangled with timing and pure chance. Bill Gates is undeniably brilliant, but in 1968, he happened to attend one of the only high schools in the entire world that owned a computer. That single, highly improbable stroke of luck gave him a head start that most of his generation never had. Gates had a close friend named Kent Evans. They shared the same intelligence, the same drive, and the same dreams of building software. But Evans died tragically in a mountaineering accident before graduation. They were exposed to the same opportunities, but one encountered extreme luck and the other encountered devastating risk. This diagram illustrates a simple choice: a button giving you $100 today or one offering $200 next month. Our biology actively fights against the second option. For thousands of years, humans survived by valuing immediate resources over distant security. Psychologists call this present bias, your brain's hardwired instinct to choose a quick dopamine hit today rather than patiently waiting for a larger reward later. Because you cannot control sudden windfalls, unexpected tragedies, or your own ancient biology, arrogant perfection is a terrible financial strategy. You have to build a system that accepts these loud variables and prioritizes long-term survival. There is a massive psychological friction between acquiring money and keeping it. Getting rich requires you to be aggressive, optimistic, and highly tolerant of bold risks. Staying rich requires the exact opposite. It demands fear, caution, and a deep respect for how quickly things can go wrong. Many high earners completely fail to transition between these two modes. They make massive fortunes through aggressive action, and they continue treating money like a gamble. A prime example is Mike Tyson, who earned over $400 million in the ring, but eventually found himself $23 million in debt. Contrast that aggressive strategy with Warren Buffett. His legendary wealth does not come from making reckless bets or timing the market perfectly. It comes from 70 years of boring, consistent discipline and aggressively avoiding any single mistake that could wipe him out. Once you secure a level of wealth, your primary objective must shift. You stop playing the game to maximize your returns, and you start playing the game to absolutely guarantee your survival. When you see a high-end sports car roll down the street, you rarely think about the person behind the wheel. You think about how impressive you would look driving it. This is the man-in-the-car paradox. We buy luxury items to gain admiration from others, but observers bypass the driver entirely and only admire the object. Income is highly visible to the outside world. You can see the designer clothes and the large houses, but true wealth is completely invisible. Wealth is the portfolio of investments, the emergency funds, and the cash that you actively choose not to convert into status symbols. This chart shows a primary income bar experiencing a sudden 40% jump. You land a major promotion, and suddenly you feel a massive sense of financial security and arrival. But watch what happens next. Through a process called hedonic adaptation, your psychological expectations quietly shift. Yesterday's luxury becomes today's baseline. A nicer apartment, frequent dinners out, and minor upgrades slowly raise the cost of your life until the expenses bar completely consumes the new income, leaving you exactly where you started. This is lifestyle inflation. Without a definitive stopping point, the desire for status turns destructive. Rajat Gupta built a net worth of over $100 million. By any metric, he had won. But surrounded by billionaires, he felt inadequate. He committed insider trading simply to catch up, and in the process, lost his reputation, his fortune, and his freedom. Social comparison guarantees that the finish line will always move away from you. The most difficult financial skill you can master is firmly defining your personal version of enough. If the goal of accumulating money isn't to buy endless luxury goods or impress strangers in traffic, then what is it actually for? The highest absolute dividend that money pays is leverage. It is the ability to wake up every morning and know you have total control over what you do, when you do it, and who you do it with. This calendar grid represents the true value of your savings. A 6-month emergency fund is a literal down payment on your time. It buys you space to decline a bad project, walk away from a toxic workplace, or weather an unexpected layoff without panic. Every financial decision you make strips down to a simple binary choice. You are either purchasing fleeting comfort for your present self, or you are securing permanent freedom for your future self. Real wealth isn't a high score sitting in a brokerage account. It is the peace, the options, and the unshakable freedom to design a life you never feel the need to escape from.